Welcome to Tuesday. It's February 7th, 2023. Your Day Weather Podcast brought to you by Cowboy State Daily. Also brought to you by WYDOT. Remember to sign up for the Wyoming Travel Authorization Program. Well, we're going to be in between systems today, and as we head on into Wednesday, we mentioned yesterday it's going to be kind of up and down this week and into the weekend, and that's how it's going to be. Today through midday Wednesday, an up period where temperatures will rebound a bit today and Wednesday, and fair weather will be with us. But there's another Pacific front late Wednesday into Thursday, and it's basically going to be a repeat of what happened over the last 24 hours, where there was a good shot of snow in the mountains, some snow showers in the plains, wind, blustery, cold conditions. Basically, it's the same thing. It's just going to repeat. Temperatures behind the front will be pretty chilly for Thursday into Friday. Then the next break will be Friday through Sunday. So we'll have a break today, a front Wednesday night, Thursday, a break Friday and Saturday. There'll be another little trough, mainly going down into the southern Rockies, down into New Mexico and West Texas, as we get into Sunday and Monday with a weak front moving through elsewhere. Then we're going to take a look at that stronger storm. It's still on the table right towards the middle of next week. Better snow chances, and there could be a lot of cold air with that trough coming in by the middle of next week. So the weather pattern is going to stay active. Also, got a little bit of a La Niña update for you. We've got some new data to pass along. Today's satellite photo shows the break in the action right here. Not much going on weather-wise. Believe it or not, this is yesterday's system already moving very quickly out of the region. But you can see the swirl of clouds up here in the Gulf of Alaska. That's the next low. Moisture getting pushed out ahead of it here into the Pacific Northwest. But for today and most of Wednesday, a lot of the west and the central plains, not a lot of weather going on. And here you can see at 500 millibars, there's the low up in the Gulf of Alaska. Generally not a lot going on elsewhere. This is what the precipitation pattern looks like, though, with the next front coming. I'll get back to that here in a minute. So this is for Wednesday afternoon and evening. We have the next low cutting across Montana into Wyoming and the Dakotas. This will drag in a pretty good Canadian cold front, cold air coming in behind it. And high pressure builds along the west coast. So that's the next break that comes in over the weekend. And then there's our next weather maker for the middle of next week. So the pattern is staying active. So this looks a lot like what just happened. The northern and central Rockies, the mountains, the ski slopes get a nice little shot of snow. There will be a little bit of snow, nothing really heavy on the plains, except a little bit more in the way of rain and thunderstorm activity over East Texas, Oklahoma, and into parts of the lower Midwest. This is what the snowfall looks like again. This looks very similar to what just happened. So the mountains will continue to get snowed on. There's just not a lot to be found on the plains, but some, and it's going to stay chilly. The air behind the second front for Thursday and Friday is pretty cold. So any warm-up today and Wednesday will be short-lived. These are temperatures by Thursday afternoon relative to the 30-year average. So you can see the bullseye of the green and the blue and the purples there, centered right over Wyoming, Utah, Colorado, and then across the Great Basin. So the cold winter weather continues, and a lot of that still has to do with a lot of snow cover still. As we get to the weekend, there's our break. We've got high pressure overhead. So for Saturday and the Sunday, the weather looks pretty good. That low there in California is going to break off from the main jet stream and take a track like this early next week. Well, this guy up here in the Aleutians is queued up to come in later. And there it is. This is where we're looking at that middle part of next week, bringing a stronger low pressure system into the Intermountain West and the Western High Plains. We're very far out, so you have to take this with a grain of salt, but we continue to see the possibility of a larger, colder weather system, a bigger weather maker, around Wednesday and Thursday of next week, and we'll keep an eye on it for you. It's the right pattern. With a high pressure in the southeast, high pressure in the eastern Pacific, this configuration does lend itself to some type of storm across the west by the middle of next week. And behind it, oh, brr, there's more cold. So the hits keep coming because there's really nothing that will give us consistent warmth. The warmer weather will be pushed towards the northeast again, while the stormiest and coldest weather, like it has been all winter, has been focused out west. A La Niña update for you. Currently, the meter, so to speak, has La Niña right at the precipice of being officially a La Niña, which is a half a degree centigrade below the average, going into that neutral status, getting darn close right here. And as we take a look at some of the new sea surface temperature predictions that came out from the European Modeling Center, we do see that there are changes afoot. These are the latest sea surface temperature anomalies. You can see the light blue here, La Nina hanging on, but you see the little specks of orange right here off the coast of South America. It's beginning to weaken. So we're definitely seeing it not nearly as strong as it was a year ago. This is it was a year ago. A lot of very colder water, a much stronger La Nina signature there. So the weather has certainly changed over the last 4 months and over the last 12 months if you compare sea surface temperature anomalies. And more important, we look at the depth of the cold water. How deep is the cold water below the surface? Not only at the surface, well, you can see what going back to last year. Now, last year, as we got into February and March, we had this little spike where the sea surface temperature anomalies and La Nina weakened, only to come back with ferocity through the spring and early summer, a weakening right at June and July, and then, boy, La Nina was roared back. And look how deep the water got. So you got a very cold column of water there. But since late fall, there's been an erosion of the depth, and then you can see the orange right here. Could this happen again right here? Possibly, but not likely. But this little patch of orange is certainly encouraging. And the newest long-range forecast from the European Center is showing that the sea surface temperature anomalies should weaken. And we're seeing other signs as well as with the wind patterns near the equator. So these are the sea surface temperature anomalies now. This is what it'll be like in March. You can see this little patch of warmth knifing into that cold water area right here. And this is by April. And this is by May. And this is the pattern, the signature right here that is definitely showing an El Nino is coming. Now, officially, when will it be an El Nino? I don't think it's going to be by next month, March or April, or probably even by May. I think the modeling here is probably overestimating the warmth of the change. However, the odds that by summer we're going to be officially we'll be easily into a neutral status, and we might be into a weak El Nino status sometime late summer and early fall. So La Nina is on the way out. There's going to be an El Nino within the next 6 to 12 months developing sometime, and we'll continue to track it for you. Have yourself a good Tuesday. We'll talk to you on Wednesday.